Hi guys, I'm Scott Speed, driver of this amazing Volkswagen Beetle GRC car. I got good news for the iRacing fam. We got this coming in. I'm currently working on it myself personally to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. With the addition of dirt and now this mean car, it is going to be so fun. And it's going to be available free to all the iRacing members. Personally, I can't wait to get out there and race you guys on it.
Welcome back to RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live for round number 2, well, race number 2 of our Wednesday race nights. And this is the finale of your Raven Grafixx and eSpeed Contender Series Championship. 4 drivers remain: Bart Marak, Tim Marlowe, Keith Stewart, and Jason Sizlove. Those 4 will fight out tonight for the championship in the eSpeed Championship 250 live from Homestead Motor Speedway. Join us in just a few moments' time for all the action. See you in a few. Welcome back to RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live as coverage starts of the finale of the Raven Grafixx and eSpeed Contender Series Championship. As always, Randy Chineth joined by Jake Blackall as well as Hugo Louis. And Jake, can you believe that this has been a nearly 6-month grind since we started?
It's been 6 months and it all comes down to this, the final round here at Homestead, and it's going to be a cracker. The track is already in the cloud. You could say it's nearly under the lights, but it's not. And I think these drivers, 23 of them, are going to start. So we're going to be down to the 4 that we're going to be watching for the championship. But the rest of them, going to mix it up to make it a little bit more interesting.
Yes, there's 4 drivers that we are really interested in tonight, and while qualifying is underway, let's talk about those 4. Let's kick it off with the driver of the number 16. That is Keith Stewart. Keith Stewart comes in as the winningest driver in the chase this year with 2 wins. He's majorly stepped up his game this season. Last year, got off to a slow start, but came on strong through the second half of that season, and he's carried that momentum into this season, snagging several pole positions and being one of the most consistent drivers in the championship. He didn't get any initial victories early, but he has found race-winning pace when you want to, locking out 2 of the 3 races in the first phase of the chase at Watkins Glen and Atlanta. Real-world experience, a great qualifier, and one of the most consistent drivers in the championship. Keith Stewart is easily one of the favorites to snag the championship tonight at Homestead.
Second driver, Tim Marlowe, the 28 truck. The driver of the 28 truck, Tim Marlowe, raced his way literally into this championship round tonight. He's had a strong run of inconsistent finishes, but absolutely dominated last week at Richmond by coming from the back of the field to the front numerous times, putting himself in the position to take his second eSpeed Contender Series championship. He's been quiet though throughout this season, bad luck coming his way multiple times, and he somehow managed to keep scraping through. And if he continue to do that tonight and stay out of trouble, he will be on game tonight. And because of that, if he's there at the end, he will certainly be one to watch and to take it all.
Moving to our third driver, the number 45 of Bart Morak is the only driver in the chase to be more consistent than the 16 of Keith Stewart. Of the 4 drivers left, Bart is the only rookie who has a shot at the Raven Grafixx and ESP Contender Series championship title. He only managed to take home one win all year, but that one win at Iowa was easily the most dominant win of the year. Every week, the bright yellow wet paint Silverado is in the mix of the top 5, and tonight at Homestead, I'd be shocked if we didn't see that ring true again.
And the final driver, the one without a win, Jason Sizlove in the number 44 truck. He might not have that victory like the rest of the championship contenders, but certainly has the skill and the perseverance to be able to add that championship to his belt. Consistency has been the aim of the season for the driver of the number 44 truck, who has just stayed out of trouble and continued to bag points. Now, Jason has a chance to take it to the rest of the field and truly show what he is capable of, and will be the dark horse among the final field that could shock, the final 4 that could shock everyone if he's the first across the line.
So that is our short little rundown. Let's talk a little bit more about these top 4. Let's start with the 16, Jake, and actually let's talk about the qualifying first. Talk about 4 guys left. 3 of them are in the top 4. Bart Morak, Tim Marlowe, and Keith Stewart will roll off 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Jason Sizlove qualifies 11th. But Keith Stewart, I honestly think, I have to say, of these 4 drivers, I think Keith has the edge over these 4 by just a little amount.
Yeah, he definitely has that little bit of an edge over the rest of them in qualifying, obviously, for those guys just already finishing, and some of them still working through that at the moment. But those top 3 are going to be inseparable at the moment. And Sizlove, he's got that race pace, we know he does. He always manages to work his way there at the end, so it won't surprise me if he's there.
28 of Tim Marlowe. It's been an up and down year for him, Jake. You talked about it in his little segment. It's, you know, I would actually say it's been more down and up, but he's found pace when you want it. He managed to get himself into the chase both times. And getting that win at Richmond, locked himself in here at Homestead. Tim Marlowe has to have really the best race, I think, of the championship, of his championship, to have any hopes of coming away with a win for this one. He hasn't been consistent enough through the championship, I think, to be one of the favorites here tonight.
He hasn't, and that's the thing that's hurt him getting to this point, was his inconsistent runs. And now that race last week that you unfortunately missed, Randy, at Richmond, he was on fire, coming from the back of the field to the front. Every time he had a little hurdle, he overcame it to get that win. That's what he needs to do to get himself here, and he's here, and he's put it on 3rd at the moment. He's definitely got that pace to maybe show it tonight.
And then the last 2, Bart Morak and Jason Sizlove. I have to say, between these 2, Jake, I want to talk to them a little bit. We're running out of time. Still have about 6 minutes, but let's talk about Bart first. The 45 of Bart Morak. I think if Keith Stewart is your favorite, Bart Morak has to be the easy 2nd favorite, and it's not a big advantage that Keith has over that number 45. I mean, he's been heel and step and matching Keith Stewart all season long. That 45 has been bad fast all year.
The 45 has been matching everyone all year long. It doesn't matter who you put in front of him. That 45 has been there with him, whether it's been Townsend or even the 58 of Edward Zagetti, who's been up there as well. They've always been there and been with them the entire time. So he's definitely going to be that second one to watch.
And then Jason Sizlove in the 44. I think he has to be the full dark horse here, Jake, of these 4 drivers. I think you have to slot him into that 4th spot of who you expect to come away with this championship. You said it in your little segment. He's been consistent. He's been in the top 10, but we've not seen that 44 have race-winning pace all season long. And I think for him, that's not going to put him in a great position going out onto this race tonight for 250 miles.
Yeah, it's sort of the one that may be there, and if you can have a good run and get inside that top 5, he should be there at the end. And that's the thing with Jason Sizlove. If he's there, and he's able to play a big part in the final round. And we saw it last week, last season, championship contenders coming into this round, having a little bit of bad luck. He might be the one that gets some good luck if the rest of them have some bad.
So we're going to talk with each of your 4 chase contenders before we go green. Jake, you stood by with Tim Marlowe for a couple questions. You were here last week, so you talked to him, your race winner out at Richmond.
Yeah, I'm going to be stood by with Tim Marlowe right now. Tim, coming into this final round, what is the game plan? Congratulations on making it to this championship race, but how are you going to take this one? It's going to be chaotic, especially with all three of you starting next to each other.
Yeah, it is. I just want to take care of it for a long while, stay out of trouble, practice races, a little bit of trouble bumping around early in the race, and then I was really hoping for warmer weather. This cold weather has got me a little bit off.
Yeah, this cold weather I think is going to throw everyone off today, and I think it's just going to make for a little bit of an interesting race. So good luck, congratulations on making it this far, and hopefully you can go and spur it at the end, and we'll be talking to you then.
All right, thank you very much.
That was one of our championship contenders, and now Randy, we'll move on to the next one. That will be Jason Sides of the 44.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking to Jason Slizov in the 44. And Jason, I think you're aware enough to maybe know it. You're probably not one of the favorites going into tonight. That 44 having one of the worst starts and the worst finish averages of the top four that are fighting it out for the championship tonight. And of course, you're the only one of the top four without a win. You start a little bit further back in the field than the other three. They're going to roll off second, third, and fourth. You're going to roll off 11th. What's your plan to get there to the front? How confident are you that it'll work?
Lots of patience, and not so sure about the overcast track, so I don't know, we'll just have to see. Didn't have a real good qualifying tune, obviously, so just try to be patient and try to keep the fenders on it, and maybe a little good luck will shine on me, who knows.
Well, good luck to you, Jason. Hopefully I can be that little ray of good fortune tonight. Hope to see that number 44 run strong and be competitive this evening.
All right, thanks, fellas. I appreciate that.
Moving on down the line, Jake, you're stood by with the number 16, Keith Stewart.
Yeah, going to be stood by with the number 16, Keith Stewart. Definitely the one that is, like you said, Randy, the major one. And Keith, coming into this one, you are the favorite. How are you going to take this one into it? All that real-world experience, all that experience throughout the season of just being so fast. How are you going to take it here today?
Well, you know, thanks for the compliments, Jake. Of course, it's a whole new ball game here tonight with the weather and everything, and I like to call it hero weather, but it should be a heck of a race, and I'm just going to rely on what I've done all season and try to get the Raven Grafixx Tundra into victory lane, and the rest of it will take care of itself. Just want to get it done, man. Really want to bring it home.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those races with this weather to see if you can stay out of all that trouble and how this track plays out. It's definitely going to be something to watch. Congratulations and well done, and good luck tonight, Keith. It's definitely going to be a hard one for you out there with the rest of them all around you.
Thank you very much, Jake. Appreciate it.
Now I'm stood by with the final of the four. That's the number 45 of Bart Marak. Bart, it's really, kind of up in the air, I think, for everyone between you and Keith Stewart. You have the best qualifying and race finish average, though, of everyone in this top four, and you qualify ahead of your other three competitors tonight, rolling off from the outside of the front row. How confident are you in that number 45 machine to be able to stay out front in the race trim?
We have good speed, but you never know until you get out there and start turning some laps.
Let's talk about this. A couple of guys have mentioned this overcast here, Bart. What do you think we're going to see happen tonight at Homestead with the overcast weather? I know on the roadside, generally the cars get a little bit extra grippy and you can see people maybe a little bit more aggressive. You think we might see some two-wide action here at Homestead tonight?
Should be good, fast racing, but I expect long green runs tonight.
That's always good to see long green flag runs, if I could speak English correctly, in your Raven Grafixx and eSpeed Contender Series. Bart, good luck to you tonight. That 45 machine has been fast all year. You're the only rookie with a chance of the championship. It'd be awesome to see you wrap it up in your first attempt. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you after the race.
I hope so as well. And that's going to do it. Those are the four that we are going to be really keeping an eye on tonight, Jake. While there's 19 other guys in this field or so, it really is going to be those four we're going to be focusing on, hyper-focused on, over this 167-lap event.
Yeah, those four are going to be the ones that we're going to be watching, but the rest of the field, they could all still come and just shine on their parade and looking out in front for the qualifying. Doug Lemons has sort of gone and done that, and unfortunate that Doug wasn't in this championship round to actually be able to put amongst these guys because he just had so much inconsistency, and that was the thing with this season. Longer grids meant that if you didn't have the consistency, you weren't going to be there at the end.
That was 100% the case, and I think you can see some of these people that managed to bring this home and get themselves into this Final Four, Jake. I think most notably Jason Sizlov is probably the name that rings most true, in my opinion, of being able to get that car home every night. It wasn't often we saw that 44 running up at the front. He was usually down towards the tail end of the top 10, but it was also very rare that we saw that 44 machine go behind the wall for extensive repairs.
That's exactly right, and that's why the 44 Jason Sizlov is in this one. And if he can stay out of all the trouble amongst everyone else tonight, especially with this overcast weather, he definitely can be there. And with those three starting next to each other, it's going to be interesting to see how they go about those first couple of laps, because being around your other championship contenders, you want to race them hard. It is early, but still, you want to get everything you can early on.
And so with that, as the trucks begin to take the grid, let's get to some predictions. Jake, 4 drivers here. Who do you think is the favorite? Who do you expect to come away with the win tonight?
It's going to be difficult. The 4 drivers, I have to put on Bart Marak. He's been quick most of the season, and he has always been up there. If he stays out of trouble, which I think all of them are going to have to do, he will be the one that will take the championship. Whether he can win the race, maybe as well. It'll be interesting to see how the 45 goes, but that's my pick.
You're going to go with the 45 who starts on the outside of the front row. I think my pick, I think I have to go with the other easy one, really. I think that has to be the 16 of Keith Stewart. Those guys have been involved in such fun battles all season long. Both of them been consistently in and amongst the top 5 from the get-go all season long. I think the 16 and the 45 are the two to really keep an eye on it. But that said, that 28 has been quick at times this season. Tim Marlowe is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And if that 44 gets hooked up, he could come through the field. But with that, let's go down your starting grid for your E-Speed Championship 250 live from Homestead. Row number 1, we have Doug Lemons and Bart Marak. Bart Marak is the fastest qualifier in the chase. Row number 2, 2 more chase competitors in Tim Marlowe and Keith Stewart. Going back to the 3rd row, we have Travis Turnmeyer and Brent Keith, with Brandon Holder and Timmy Logwood Jr. rolling off row 4. Row 5, Sean Ryan and Aaron Ames. Then you have to go outside the top 10 to get to your next chase contender. That's Jason Sizlov in the 44. He rolls off 11th on the inside of Edward Zagetti, working row 6. Row 7, James Torrey and Burt Wilson. Brad Patterson, Brett Day, row 8. Row 9, Doc Stout and Frank Gerbiglia. Bobby Everhart and Travis Townsend. Row 10, with rows 11 made up with Perry Snelson and William Tony and Doyle Lawrence, starting at the back of the 23 truck field tonight. Been a long championship, over 6 months. 4 drivers remain, and who will toss their hat in to win the championship here in season number 5? Green flag out in the air. Doug Lemons leads them into turn number 1, and the 45 machine gets a good jump, and he'll be able to slot himself single file behind the 70 as they work lap 1 of 167, Jake.
Already started working the start of this one, and already 3 single file trucks out in front. Lemon 45, and the 16 dropping in behind. 3 trucks in the championship, all single file. The rest of the field still side by side in a 3 and 4.
So talking about these guys, so you can know who the championship contender and who is not. Those who are in championship contention have a yellow splitter on the front, and they have a yellow windshield head screen, as well as a yellow spoiler. There's a couple guys that might have something due to their livery that's similar, but no one else will have all 3. Right now, championship contenders run P2, P3, P4. In order, it's Bart Marak, Tim Marlowe, and Keith Stewart logging behind Doug Lemons, who's gotten himself out to an early 4/10 of a second lead.
Yeah, early lead for Doug Lemons right now, and he's going to try and use that behind the Keith Stewart, looking to the inside of Tim Marlowe. That's for P number 3. I think Marlowe's going to drop now behind Bart Marak. Maybe have a look into turn 1. Close enough, but not close enough this time. Actually, Bart Marak slides up the track a little bit through the middle of 1 and 2. He's got a little bit of right side damage already on that 45 truck, Randy. That could hurt him with that damage early on.
I think a slight brush of the wall is what it was for that 45 machine. He's going to give it up early to the 28, just slot himself into the 3rd spot. You see the 45 already looking to the higher end of the racetrack. He's running about a 3/4 of a truck with higher than the number 16 and the number 28, but the 28 now, as they run, slots himself into the 2nd position, with Keith Stewart still staying in P number 4. And you see again that 45 machine run through the middle. And you look here, Jake, second, third, fourth, all championship contenders, the 3 of them all running slightly different lines through both ends of the racetrack. You see Keith Stewart on the bottom, Marlowe in the middle, and Barak along the top. Stewart's going to slip by the 45 to get third.
Yeah, Stewart already up into P3. The 45 truck not at the pace at the moment on this tricky track conditions. The 54 of Termeyer will be next. Behind them as well will be Brandon Holder. And the rest of the field sort of got a little bit of a gap there between all the way from about, I think it's about truck length from 6th to 7th.
Yeah, there's a big gap between P number 6 and P number 7. If you're the 44 at Sidelow, this is not what you want to see because you're working yourself in the 10th spot. He's already done a great job picking himself up a couple positions. He scored in the top 10 last time around here. He's still fighting with the 72, with 3 wide for a moment with the 92 through the exit of corner number 4. But right here, out front here, Jake, we're seeing a big, single file, we're seeing big gap single file. You get the 7th, 8th on back. It's a huge pack of trucks. All 15, 16 guys all fighting with one another for the same bit of real estate.
Yeah, everyone back here is fighting for this position like the last lap of the World Championship. It's coming up to that, but it's still got 161 laps to go before we get there. And at the moment, Jason Sizlov stuck on that high side. He's got the 7 now too. He's inside as the 2 in front of him sort of sort themselves out. Brad Patterson's still there having a look in the 42 behind. This is for the 10th position, so Sizlov just only made up the 1 spot off the start, but at the moment I think he'd be happy to just run around, stay out of trouble with these guys around him.
I think you're right. I think he just wants to log laps and probably slowly get himself up through this field. He gets himself around the 7 of Burt Wilson. Next in line is going to be the 72 of Aaron Ames as they work into corners number 3 and 4. And I think you're right. He doesn't want to get too aggressive here. He just needs to slowly pick drivers off one at a time. 167 lap event tonight. That 44 machine has some time to make some moves and let things happen out in front of him. We said from the 45 of Bart Marak, we expect some long green flag runs tonight. And I think if that 44 is set up for a long green flag run, he could be competitive and get himself early in contention before we ever get to green flag pit stops.
Yeah, if it's a green flag runs, Jason Sizlov could be one to watch. And actually looking back there to 83, Travis Townsend on the inside of Brad Patterson. The 83 truck gaining that spot, missed out and getting into the championship after a couple of weeks with some other issues outside of sim racing. And now back here tonight, and he's already up into the 12th spot from 20th on the grid. So the 83, and now he's having a look on the 7 of Burt Wilson. So Townsend definitely could be one to mix it with these chase contenders when he gets there.
83, a non-qualifier tonight, not in the chase, and he also did not take a qualifying time. He has started this race from the 20th position, and he's making a move on the inside of Burt Wilson for 11. So the 83 almost coming up and closing and getting himself up into the top 10. So right now, if you're the 44, Jason Sizlov, Jake, that has to be good news because while you're not the 83 as Sizlov, very close moment with Aaron Ames through 1 and 2. Well, this 44 Sizlov won't generally have the pace of Townsend. At least he knows that the way the weather's playing and the way the track state currently is, that you can drive your way through this field as the 83 looks to the inside of the 44. 44 going to shut the door and try to work the outside and get a big run onto the front straightaway.
Yeah, it definitely gives a little bit of a vote of hope for the 44 at the moment with where he is, and I think that also goes into play that just trying to get him to grips with the track. Townsend's always been one that will just get to grip early. With everyone else just sort of on the back foot, and at the moment it looks like the Sizlov in those couple of laps had a little bit more pace than the 72, just couldn't do anything with it. The 7 now looking to the inside of that 44 truck coming into turns number 3 and 4. He's going to be there, and I think Sizlov may just have to give the 7 the spot, but he may get Freight Train now that he's stuck on that high side coming off the turn number 4 this time. Patterson has a look to the inside.
Looking back out front, though, for P number 2, the 16 of Keith Stewart on the inside of Tim Marlowe in the 28. He's going to have a slight nose ahead of that 28 machine, but because of the variable banking here at Homestead, the 28 of Marlowe gets a big run off the corner down the back straightaway. Now into 3 and 4 they come again. 16 of Stewart on the inside line, trying to get a good run off, and they're just going to stay side by side. Keith Stewart really playing patient with the 28, giving him a lot of room on the exit, and it's just going to be 9 thousandths of a second between these two for second place. Meanwhile, the 70 Doug Lemons, well, Jay, he's jotted himself out to an early 1.3 second lead.
Yeah, Doug Lemons is flying out there at the moment in that 70 truck. He looks like he's going to be hard to beat tonight for the win. But at the moment, the 16, the 28 championship contenders side by side through 3 and 4, and the 16 looks like he's got most of the truck in front. Not clear though of Tim Marlowe in that 28, and coming up behind them, Brandon Holder in the 31, so he could try and mix this one up just a little bit. Keith actually got the nose ahead over the start-finish line on Tim Marlowe, but Keith still not clear of that 28 truck. The 28, like you said, Randy, with a variable banking, just able to run off the corner so much faster than that 16 truck, and it's able to keep him there at the moment because he comes up to about side by side as they enter a corner once again in the 3 and 4.
They still stay side by side of the 16 of Keith Stewart. Scary lose. Has to get way out of the throttle. Fantastic save by him. I think he's going to lose a spot to Brandon Holder as well. The 31 has a big head of steam. No, the 31 not going to look to make the move. I think he possibly could have, but he just didn't do it just right there. But that 16 of Keith Stewart, Jake, he's pushing hard. And that little hiccup, hopefully, you're only working lap number 15. Still 142 laps, 152, laps in this event to go. You need to just be a little bit patient, and you might want to fight side by side with Tim Marlowe tooth and nail now, but no real point in doing it if you can just stay close.
Yeah, there's no point in doing it now if you can just see that back of that 28 truck for now. He just can float around. He's obviously got the 31. I think that may have been one of the reasons why he was pushing so hard to get that position, knowing that that 31 of Brandon Holder was coming. He wanted to get it done so he could try and skip away and chase down that gap to Doug Lemons, but Lemons still 1.3 seconds down in front. He's not skipping out as far as we thought early on. 30.921 from Doug Lemons, a 30.912 from Tim Marlowe. So the pace is sort of 30.9, so everyone else, the 30.892 for Bart Marak was the fastest last time around the racetrack, and the 30.7 for the 45 truck. So he gained another 2/10 on everyone else, and the 10th just on the people in front, except for Brandon Holder, who was right in that tow with that 16 truck coming off of turn number 2. He's going to have a look going down. Is he close enough to do so? He's got the nose there. Keith Stewart gives him the room at the moment through 3 and 4 side by side. The 31 truck might be able to get this position on the 16, and that's going to drop him down into 4th.
So the 16 and Keith Stewart is going to lose a spot here early. Now as they go into 1 and 2 for the 18th time, and something interesting to always take note, the 45 of Bart Marak almost always has a long run machine under that 45. He likes to have the car set up to go on long runs. So while he was on the back foot early, expect that 45 to get faster and faster every single lap. Last time by, Jake, he was the quickest over everybody, a 30.780 from Marak in the 45. Compare that to your leader, Lemons, to the 30.894. Lemons this time a 998. He's closing in on the 31s, where Marak is still well and down into the 30s. It's now through 1 and 2. And Bart Marak still closing on the back of the number 16 of Keith Stewart. Brandon Holder still slotted himself into the 3rd spot. So right now, Chase Contenders, Marlowe runs 2nd, Stewart runs 4th, Marak runs 5th, and here comes Marak in the 45. He wants P number 4 from the 16 machine. Is he going to get there? No, not quite. Doesn't quite have the head of steam, Jake, but that 45, he's known for having long run equipment, and he's up the inside of the 16 of Keith Stewart now through 1 and 2. As he comes off the corner of the 45, slots himself into the 4th position, but no, variable banking fights full back for the 16 machine, who gets a big head of steam into 3 and 4.
Big head of steam from Keith Stewart out of turn number 2. The 45 drives it in there, a little bit loose, and around it go. Can he save that and make sure he doesn't hit the fence? He can. The 45 doesn't hit the wall, loses it around, coming through 3 and 4. The same that happened to Stewart ago. Caution is out though for that one, and that was the lucky one there for the 45. That could have ended worse than what it did.
That really could have gone a lot worse for the 45 machine, Jake, but we've already seen it twice now. 2 of our championship contenders, and really the 2 people you and I called out as favorites. 16 O'Keefe Stewart, he had a slight hiccup, got a little bit loose, but managed to hold on to that machine. 45, not quite as lucky. He went almost all the way around and nearly hit something. Those guys are going to be mighty nervous, I think. And right now for the 45 machine, Jake, he's going to have his work cut out for him. So he's going to roll off deep in the field. And the 44, Jason Sideslove, Jake, he's done nothing but go backwards. He's now rolling 15th.
Yeah, Jason Sideslove has not had the greatest start. I think once he got on that outside, got freight trained, but the 2 that we, like you said, we picked favorites, and those 2 struggling with the rear through 3 and 4. So maybe that's just one thing that we'll have to keep an eye on, especially in the later runs, and that's what it came to. But that 45 was starting to turn on there, come into his own little groove as everyone looks like they come down pit road. I am very surprised that no Chase Contenders tried to stay out and get an extra lap, especially Bart Marak. maybe throw himself to the back of the field because he's already down there. Just get those extra bonus points for leading a lap. Oh, actually, yeah, I think there is bonus points for leading a lap.
No, I don't think there is. There wasn't last year. Unless they changed it, there wasn't last year.
There wasn't last year, that is correct. So that would be why everyone had to come down pit road. But Brandon Holder, winner off of pit road, that will mix it up just a little bit out in front.
Yeah, fantastic pit stop from the 31 Holder. One goes from third up to first. Doug Lemons will retain the second position, it looks like. Timmy Logwood Jr. was in the mix as well. For the most part, I think everyone's going to run pretty much in order from where they came out, went in, Jake. But a fantastic pit stop there from the 31 of Brandon Holder to come out with the race lead. I think in some way, I think if you're Tim Marlowe and if you're Keith Stewart, you almost have to breathe a little bit of sigh of relief because then you know that there's no big gains coming from either of your competitors.
Yeah, you got to know that a good roll-off for those two sitting up now will be third and fourth, starting alongside each other. Knowing that that's what you get out of there, and the run again has another look through 1 and 2. Holder on the high side, Townsend now to the inside as well of that 31 truck. Marlowe gonna get the nose ahead. He's ahead. Is he clear? He is. He moves up, takes the lead away. Tim Marlowe, the first of the chase contenders to take it away. And now Townsend through up into P2. Keith Stewart looking to take the third spot as well. He's going to be side by side with Brandon Holder. So Holder from the lead now down into third. Still just going to have to try and see what he can do with Keith Stewart. And Keith Stewart gets that spot done as well. So Keith up into third as Brandon Holder goes down into the fourth position. Now Travis Termine having a look on the 31, not close enough this time round. The rest of the field still single file. It's a 45 makes up another position, this time on the 42 of Brad Patterson. That moves himself up now into the 8th position, and Bart Barak is flying through this field. It's surprisingly that he's been able to do so quickly, as Travis Townsend now out in front is having a look at Tim Marlowe. This is for the race lead, so Townsend didn't do any qualifying laps, mind you. Didn't do much in practice. Was only 8th fastest in the practice boards. But now the 83 truck looking to take this race lead away from Tim Marlowe, who won last week. And Marlowe trying to ride the wave of consistency and the wave of momentum as he comes into this one. Now out in front, the 83 truck there, and is looking to maybe try and take that lead away this time round. A little bit of a gap though. He has a little peep going down the back straightaway, but not close enough this time round. And as I say that, a caution is out, and there's a big crash on the back straightaway between, looks like the two. It's two of James Torrey. Oh, a little bit of contact side by side with Frank Gamuglia in the 13. Around he went, and Timmy Lugwood Jr. nowhere to go, straight into the side of the 2 truck. So that'll bring out our second caution of tonight, and sorry for the little bit of trouble that we have at the moment. The two, Randy and Hugo, are working through them to get them all sorted. And at the moment, that's a little bit of incident between 2 and the 92, James Torrey, Timmy Logwood Jr. Now under caution for the second time tonight. And at that, we will now go to a short ad break, and we will certainly be back here for the final round of the East Speed Contender Series. Don't go away. We're back here at the eSpeed Contender Championship for the eSpeed Championship 250 here at Homestead. Thank you for sticking with us. Had a couple of issues, but they should be all sorted now. Brad Patterson will be restarting on the front row with Aaron Ames alongside Tim Marlowe just behind them as well for the restart. Green flag in the air, and we are back underway. Brad Patterson leading away out in front and got a good restart that time round with Aaron Ames sitting there in P2. Tim Marlowe has a look to the inside. The leading truck in the chase contention, Keith Stewart, is behind Travis Townsend on the restart. Had a slow restart, but Townsend pushing Marlowe through 1 and 2. Having another look down the back straightaway was Townsend. He is pushing the back of that 28 into the second spot. Coming into 3 and 4, and Townsend's going to follow him through as well. Holder side by side though for the third, for the fourth, fifth and sixth position, I should say. That is with Keith Stewart, the 16 truck. Keith to the high side, 31 Holder on the inside, and actually in front of them Townsend having a look on Brad Patterson, as that no tie cord not helping Marlowe to the point now. It is all happening out in front. Right now, as they're all side by side trying to fight it out here, as Townsend now goes up into P2, Marlowe to the point, Patterson struggling on this call of the 2 tires of no tires. I wasn't able to catch that while we were working through under caution, but he is struggling out there at the moment in that 42 truck. The 72 having a look as well to the inside of the 42 as their Keith Stewart looks to go around the high side of that 42 truck. Bart Marak was working his way through the field from his little earlier spin after the restart, and now he is already back there as well, so he is back up the front. Just taking a look to the inside of the 31 truck, the 72 there, the 45 drifts up the racetrack. They're 3 wide in front of them. A lot going on. The 29 is Sean Ryan, 3 wide out in front between the 31, the 72 and the 44. The 31 straight through the middle, sorry, the 42 I should say, of Brad Patterson. The 45 now going to do a switch back behind him on Sean Ryan. Great move there from the 45 out of turn 2. He looks like he might be able to get that spot down the back straightaway. The 45 truck makes the move on the 29. Stick, he does. But the 58 has just gone around the high side as well. So a great bit of racing going on between a lot of these drivers out around this top 5 at the moment. As Patterson holding on to the back of that 72 truck, getting pulled along the front straightaway. 42 truck down on the inside through 1 and 2. Looks to be side by side still with that 42 as Bart Marak comes and joins the party in that 45. Oh, you've got close through 3 and 4 as the 42 gets a little bit loose on the inside. He had to check up. The 45 had to check up. Everyone out of the throttle and a lot of ground lost to that 72 truck in front of him. The 54 to the inside of Sean Ryan in that 29 as well. As the 45 around the outside of the 42, he's not going to wait for those guys to sort themselves out. He's going to make his position himself. He gets that one done down into 3 and 4. Only 42 laps logged in the book, still over 115 laps to go in this one with the 54 Turnmeyer. To the high side of Brad Patterson, this one is for Pete. Number 7 at the moment, he got that one to actually was Pit for me, 8. Just so Patterson from the lead on the restart now down into P number 9, just struggling with the grip of that truck, and Keith Stewart is fighting hard right now for the 3rd spot. As we go back up here between the 31 of Brandon Holder and that 16 truck, Keith Stewart just not able to get the ground that he wants. He was just ahead of him at the start finish line, but he's just there now. Lost a little bit of ground this time round to actually be able to do anything with it as Holder takes control of that 3rd position. Looking back, everyone pretty much single file. A big gaggle of trucks though, still behind that little bit of racing action that we had behind Brad Patterson. We have the 90 of Brent Dave and Paris Nelson sitting in that 12th spot behind them. The 44 of Jason Sizab, our other championship contender with Doug Lemons, who is working a comeback. He was up front early on, had an issue after the first restart, had to pit and come down pit road. So we'll see what that 70 truck has in store, but the 44 to the inside now, up into 13th spot. Side by side with the 6th of Perry Snelson on the high side. Might be able to get that one done. Has the ground, but not close enough this time around. It's going to have to slot in behind the 6th Perry Snelson. And as I say, that side fights back through 3 and 4. gonna get that spot coming off the corner. He'll clear him. Yes, he will. So good run there from the 44. Got that spot. That moves himself up into that 12th position. Now he's going to try and chase down that 90 of Brent Davies. He's put a little bit of an air gap between himself and Jason Sizember. So they fight hard with the 32 truck, sorry, of Brent Keith on the high side, the 42 on the inside, as well as the 72 of Aaron Ames. So both of them fighting hard. Dave looks to go the high side and follow Keith around the top. The two of them on the inside, trying to see if they can fight that one back. I think we have a Randy back as well in this one. We'll see if we do. And having a look around, I think I can hear you now, and it should be alright. Action aplenty at the moment, Randy. It's just non-stop action throughout the field. There's actually Barbara Rack gains the 6th spot, moves himself up there.
Yeah, drivers really fighting hard here. Barton Rack gets himself around the 29 and Tom Ryan. See now, will set his sights on the 54, Travis Turdmeyer, who currently runs himself in the 5th spot. But Tim Marlowe, the 28, still leads, one of our championship chase contenders here, Jake. 28, we called him one of the dark horses, and he's saying, I'm the favorite.
Yeah, the 28 definitely showing that he is the favourite here tonight. And Travis Townsend as well, maybe running a little bit of screen. Got to remember those two were definitely teammates last season under Old Fight Sim Racing. Obviously expanded when we had the 4 trucks per team rule come in. Travis Townsend just sort of running in second. He had pace early on as Marlowe's just picked it up a little bit. But definitely they're just sort of floating around at the moment because Brandon Older, he's coming back. He did a 30.565 last time round. In front of him though, 30.7s is there. Looks like there could be a couple of cars around. It's Jason Sizember, the 44 championship contender. A lot of damage to the 44 truck of Jason Sizember, the first of our championship contenders to get involved in the big one. That was coming off of turn 2, and the 30, 44, the 72 and the 42, they all came together. The 72 came up, the 44 was there, the 44 into the fence, and they collected the 42, and that is a lot of damage to the championship contender of the 44 of Jason Sizember, Randy, and that could be day done for him. A lot of damage there on that 44 truck. He is currently on pit road, same with the 72 and the 42, as it should be under caution, as we are under caution for our 3rd time tonight. And this will be how it goes for tonight, the 3rd caution of the night. Pit stops now, as it looks like everyone, it doesn't matter what run they are on, they keeps going and coming down onto pit road, no matter how many laps they've done on the tyres. I think it's a good call, especially with the overcast weather. You want that grip level to be as high as possible running around here today, as the 70 comes into his first box. 45, 28 and the 16, 3 championship contenders now running around there as the 28 wins the race off of pit road. 31 comes off P2, so beats Travis Townsend. So again, the 31 Dynamite on pit road got that position done, and Travis Townsend going to slot into the 3rd position with Keith Stewart coming off 4th, and then 6th Bart Marak. So good pit stop for the 3 championship contenders. And now have to see what happens, and Sizember's still on pit road. That is going to be I'd say day done there, Randy, if you are back there. And that's definitely it should be. Yeah, I've got you here, and Randy, the tough luck there for the 44. Just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, really was heartbreak. We got the replays of that story, guys. Still chasing some tech issues here.
Yeah, for those 3 out in front, it's definitely just going to be one little less of an issue for those guys. But for Jason Sizember, it's not the way you wanted to end the championship tonight. And now looking out in front, Marlowe will be restarting in P1, and it's sort of been one of those races for the 28 truck, Randy, and it's coming to him at the moment, especially under this third caution of the night. Only 52 laps in the book, so we've still got over 100 laps to go. But Tim Marlowe's definitely showing the pace early on.
Yeah, that 28 of Marlowe has been pretty quick all race long. I mean, everyone. Bart Marak, he's done a fantastic job to get himself back up the field here after that mistake early that put him down on the back foot.
Yeah, the pace at that 45 has shown, Randy, and I think it's been shown throughout that just he's dropped down and he comes back, and he always does. Unless he gets damaged, he can fight his way back, and he only slid it through 3 and 4, didn't hit anything, and dropped down to 17th on that restart, 16th it was on the restart, put himself up into 9th before this next caution. Now he's sitting in P6, he's going to be to the outside of that third row. He might be able to do something with it. It's just going to be interesting to see how these guys play around him. He's up amongst these guys who have been quick from the word go. The 70 is that other truck that we might have to watch mix it up with these guys. So I think there's going to be around about, I'd say, 6 to 7 trucks that are going to be fighting for this win here tonight, as the lights are out in the pace car as we double them up. Tim Marlowe, Brendan Holder, the first row for the restart. Townsend, Stewart, Turnmeyer, Marak, Ryan, Keith, and then Lemons and Day round out the top 5 row, and that the top 5 rows and the top 10 so far up to 53 laps are in the book. The third caution of the night as we'll get ready for this restart. The pace car will peel off left, and it's going to be another interesting restart here to see whether Marlowe can get a good jump, stay ahead of that 31, and he might be in for a little bit of a good stint here. As we're going to go on board with the 45 for this restart. That is in the third row. Marlowe is already gone. That's going to be interesting to see how Bart Marak plays this one. Marlowe, green flag, gets a good restart. Marak actually to the inside of the 16 of Keith Stewart. Championship contenders side by side into turns number 1 and 2. Marak, good restart compared to Stewart, and he gains that 4th spot. Out in front though, it looks like Townsend wanted to have a look on Marlowe, but he's just playing that screen game at the moment. Whether he does have a look, he doesn't, he slots back in behind. So Travis Townsend definitely working what he wants to work at the moment. Holder sitting there in P3, and Marak having to try and fight off that 16 of Keith Stewart. He has another look. Now going to the inside, he has it. No, he doesn't. He's just going to sit in behind as a 54 as well. Comes along with him. So only 3 championship contenders left for Jason Sidelevel. A lot of damage sitting still on pit road as Brandon Holder to the inside of Townsend. This is for the 2nd spot. Might be able to get a good enough run off the corner, but he's not close enough this time. Townsend's going to hold on for another lap. Holder's going to have to slot back in behind as Marak and Keith Stewart slowly reel in these two for this 3rd and 4th spot. Off the corner, a good run there from the 31 of Brandon Holder, who's having another look down into 3 and 4 this time, but not close enough to do so. And maybe challenge that Townsend of 83. And out in front, Marlowe in the 28 truck, slowly pulling away while these guys fight. He's just slowly trying to open up that gap. It's now out to 3/10 of a second. Holder, another look great through the middle of 1 and 2. That's where he gains all that speed and momentum coming off the corner. He had a look to the high side. Townsend shut that door. He's going to have to sit in behind another lap and try and wait to make his move. Definitely the 31 though. Looks to have a great pace advantage over that 83 in certain spots. Looks like coming off the corner, the 83 struggling, wants a little bit higher off the corner, and it definitely brings Brandon Holder back into this one. Everyone else behind those single file at the moment, Lemons, Nelson, and so forth and so on, all the way back to the field in single file, and it's 16 trucks on the lead lap at the present time, as Day actually has a look on Doc Stout in the 62. Not close enough though into turns number 3 and 4, and he's going to have to drop in behind and maybe try and attack that one at another time. Back up to this battle though between Brandon Holder and Travis Townsend. Townsend still there. Can he get it? No, he can't. So Holder just He's trying to pick his marks at the moment, trying to maybe wait out this stint a little bit, wait for Townsend tyres to sort of drop off and let the race come to him. The Holder definitely there, but the gap between Townsend and Marlowe down to under 2/10 of a second. So that could be where Marlowe is just losing a little bit of time on this rubber as the 31 looks to the inside. That's Brendan Holder. Gonna go to the inside of Travis Townsend into turn 1. He's side by side through 1 and 2. Not clear though, that brutal banking helping Townsend off the corner. Going to be side by side again down the back straightaway, coming into turns number 3 and 4. Still side by side as the 31 battles hard with the 83. Off the corner, the 83 has the pace advantage, has the nose ahead at the line, but Holder not going to give up. He's going to throw it back down the inside into 1. Hopefully that truck will stick on that inside of Townsend as these guys fight. The gap now between themselves and Tim Marlowe out in front is moving out to half a second. Holder though has a lot of an advantage, pulls it down into the inside of 3 and 4, threw it in there, got the job done, and the 83 is going to have to settle now for 3rd. Oh, or is he's going to give him a little bit of a bump down the front straightaway to Brandon Holder. Big bump there down the front straightaway as Holder had to try and hold on into it to 1 and 2, and it's actually going to throw him off, coming off of the corner, and Townsend had another little bit of a look. Still there, he's just pushing the back of that 31 truck, trying to close the ground to Tim Marlowe out in front behind the Butmerac now. Still holding on to that 4th spot from Keith Stewart. Turnmeyer though has been having a couple of little looks on the back of that 16 truck, not close enough though to do anything about it. The gap though out in front, 7/10 of a second. Marlowe is running the race at the moment. He's just sort of calmly in his own little zone. He's got that buffer that he needs as Holder and Townsend continue to fight. Townsend is still not dropping away. He's still there. Just a move that Holder did. And now down into 1 and 2 again. The gap just slowly staying the same actually between Marlowe and Brandon Holder. Identical lap times for the front two. Out in front, Townsend a little bit slower as Doug Lemons has a look to Travis Turnmeyer. This is for the 6th and 7th position. 54 truck goes high, the 70 goes low. Looks like the 70 is going to throw it down there and get that position. And he does. So across the line, Doug Lemons up into that 6th spot now. 70 truck making gains. 54 has dropped in behind into the 7th spot. Sean Ryan's just sitting there comfortably in the 8th spot right now. It's pretty much everyone single file, but the top 7 trucks separated by less than 2 seconds. 1.7 seconds separates that top 7. And at the moment, the biggest gap between them is this race leader, Marlowe and Holder. The gap as they cross the stripe is actually coming down. It's down to 0.585 of a second. So 5/10 now between Marlowe and Holder. 30.619 from Holder compared to that of a 6.95 from Tim Marlowe. So a little bit slower there from Tim Marlowe out in front. Just maybe the rubber is going away from him, and a little bit of a toe as well around this racetrack will help Brandon Holder get a little bit closer there every lap. The Butmerac sitting there now a little bit closer as well to the back of Travis Townsend. So that could be where this long run truck, and Bart always talks about it, the long run trucks that he builds and that he has week by week, he needs them to be able to do something with it now. Maybe he has that long run truck, because here he comes. It's actually Doug Lemon's got around Travis Turnmeyer for that 6th spot. So the 70 is now all over the back of Keith Stewart. So 2 position battles right now inside this top 5, and Butmerac is close enough this time. He's still there, just not able to throw the nose down into 1 and 2. Butmerac though, close coming off of turn number 2. He might be able to go down the inside. He does have a look to the inside of the 83 of Travis Townsend. Side by side in 3 and 4, a little bit of a wiggle in the middle of 1, in the middle of 3 there from the 45, but he gets it all hooked up down the inside of 83, down the front straightaway, still there, and he's now all clear. But Marak moves himself up into that third spot. He is now on a charge in these longer runs. He's going to try and see whether he can close down that race lead now, because he'll have to get around Brandon Holder. Then he'll only have Tim Marlowe. And Tim Marlowe's ahead of him. He doesn't win a championship. So Bart Marak pushing as hard as he can to close down to that 28 truck to get that championship. The only rookie in this final fight. Rookie to win the championship. That'll be definitely a decent feat. Townsend sitting there in the third spot. In the fourth spot, sorry. The fifth now. Keith Stewart on his lonesome a little bit. There's no one really around him at the moment. He sort of just got himself a little bit of a bubble. Obviously he's got the trucks in front of behind, but no one really in the battle. Doug Lemons sort of came on at that present stage, which just started to fall away. Lemons' tires may not be working as the best he'd like after working his way through the field. And definitely is not what you want to be doing, especially when you want to try and get through. You don't want to get to these faster guys and not have the grip left to be able to do anything with it. But out in front, Tim Marlowe still leads around about a couple of tenths of a second right now. It's still coming down. It's only down to 4/10 of a second. So slowly Brandon Holder is just creeping in. Marlowe in the wall, coming off of turn 4, sorry, he slid the wall. I think there was another truck as well that got into the wall, but Tim Marlowe from the race lead. A lot of damage there to the right side of that 28 truck. He scraped the wall coming off of turn number 4, and that's going to drop him down into that 5th spot. Brandon Holder will inherit the lead. Termite to the inside of the 28 truck, and that little mistake there from Marlowe. It's on the first time we've seen him make a mistake like that, and now it's going to put him behind the 8-4 now. Had that gap out in front. And Bart Marak was the other truck in the wall, and he's hit a lot of damage there to that 45 truck. So definitely 2 of the chase contenders just scraping that wall, and both times turn 4 bit the dust. The 45 was a much harder lick though. Around that time, it's a 45, a lot more right side damage. He's going to have to want to get a caution to try and fix that one. The 28 truck did hit it pretty square as he tries to fight back now on the 70 of Doug Lemons, but 0.8 of a second lead now between Holder and Townsend. That is now how it's all played out. As the 70 now starts to come back at Keith Stewart. This is for the 3rd spot now with Tim Marlowe behind. Doug Lemons in a little bit of a championship contender sandwich at the moment with the 16 in front, the 28 behind. He doesn't want to get amongst that battle. Very loose off of turn 4 was the 16. You can see the rear slowly starting to step away. It's just the grip level as the 70 dives it down the inside into turn number 1. Doug Lemons looks to get that one as the 28 Tim Marlowe tries to follow him through as well. 28 not going to wait. The 70 actually rolls out of it. I think they'll let the 2 champ guys fight at it. Down the inside is Marlowe side by side with the 16. The 28 gets loose. Tim Marlowe around he goes. He saves it. Similar to the same slide that Marak and Keith Stewart had. So all 3 of our championship contenders that are out there at the moment have slid through 3 and 4 and managed to save it. 2 of them have gotten tight and gone into the wall, but 2 of them gotten loose. Now, Tim Marlowe was the only one to spin. A great save there from Tim Marlowe, as I say that. Marak. Yeah, Marak was the one that spun earlier. My bad there with Tim Marlowe now sliding through there. Marak spun it. Keith Stewart slid. Termeyer, I think, has just hit the fence. He has. I just heard it was the 54 truck slid into the wall coming off of turn 4, and the Brandy, if you are there, it's wow. It is all going off right now as they just logged 77 laps.
Yeah, I'm still here monitoring everything, but I mean, this has been an intense several moments. You've had 2 people in the chase contention get themselves into the wall. He's one of those people who got tight off before, just got loose off before, and lost that rear end. Keith Stewart just went from running 2nd or 3rd best of your chase contenders, and right now, as they run, he is your winner of this championship.
Yeah, Keith Stewart, after all that, is now the leading of the championship, as it is based off fitting position. There's no other points, and that's like we were mentioning before. the bonus points for leading a lap. There's none of those. There's no qualifying points like there has been for the entire season. It is all down to where they finish in this race. And Keith Stewart right now sitting in that third spot. Holder out there to a 3/10 of a second lead as Travis Townsend starts to come back. He's now down to 2/10 of a second. 2 seconds back is Keith Stewart, so Holder maybe his tyres started to go off a little bit in this longer run. Travis Townsend might be having a look whether it's this time or the next time. He is definitely visibly closer in that number 83 truck. Down into 3 and 4, and he is definitely there. 1 truck length separates the two of them. I say 1 truck length, I say no truck lengths now, because the 83 to the inside of the 31, down into turns number 1. Still side by side with that 83 truck. And he's going to get it clear. So the 83 down into P number 1, the 31 now down into P number 2. Keith Stewart is third. And he's got Doug Lemons to the inside into 3 and 4. Lemons now up into the third spot to the flight back with the 70 truck is happening. He is now back up into that third position behind him, Ryan, with Tim Marlowe a couple of seconds back from there. Everyone else still floating around. Marak is still holding on. He's just lost a spot to Brent Keith. He's now down in that 10th spot. That right side of that truck definitely hurting at the present stage, and he'll be wanting to get a caution or something to try and fix it. He doesn't want a green flag pit stop though. That will hurt him. Green flag pit stop, I think, will be the one thing that Barak at the moment is trying to avoid. Out in front, Townsend and Holder still going at it. Townsend's just struggling. We know how loose Townsend likes his racetracks, but maybe this overcast weather just playing a little bit too hard for him at the moment. Saw him a little bit sideways the last time round off of turn number 4. Everyone else still in a single file at the present stage. No other battles out there on the racetrack. Having a look now, still the race lead is the closest battle that we have out there on the racetrack. The 83 and the 31. Townsend down into turn 3 and 4 with Holder close in chase to down into 83 Townsend loose off of turn 4, got the rear end out. This gives a ton of steam to the 31 of Brandon Holder. He didn't have a look. He might have been able to, thought better of it. Stays in behind that 83 truck for another lap. But everyone struggling with turns number 4 at the moment. Everyone just trying to feather through, tippy-toe their way around this racetrack. The rear end is not cooperating. Lemons closing that gap. Keith Stewart, the first of our championship contenders, hasn't had that many issues besides sliding through 3 and 4 like the rest of everyone else has in the chase. So he's just biding his time at the moment, sitting in that 4th spot. Tim Marlowe, the next championship contender, he's down in 6th as there is a caution out on the racetrack. Our 4th of the night, and it is the 90 of Brent Day, and that is actually, it looks like the same spot coming off of turn 4, and it is 3 and 4, middle of it, got loose coming off the corner. And the truck just slid hard left up into the wall, and the head was Zaghetti very close, I think it was, to hitting the back of that 90 truck, and that will be our 4th caution of the night. Travis Townsend, our current leader, but the 90 will be our 3rd or 4th truck that we've had actually spin off turns number 3 and 4, but at that present stage, this is our 4th caution of the night, and we're going to go to a short break here in the eSpeed Championship 250 for the final round of the eSpeed Championship Contender Series for Season 5.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
And we are back live here under caution for the 4th time tonight here for the eSpeed Championship 250 in the eSpeed Contender Series here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. And we have lost Travis Townsend under caution. Another technical issue there for the 83 truck, and he is out of contention for this one. So a really strong run for that 83 Travis Townsend. Randy, if you were there and able to talk this time, and it's been a crazy one, but the 83 starting 20th worked his way up to the front. Now not even in it.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate there for the 83. He's really someone who struggled with these technical issues a lot, so I think that 83 machine is probably something that's really starting to frustrate him, considering it's something that routinely keeps popping up.
Yeah, it's one of those issues that he has that he just hasn't been able to beat this season, and now sitting down to this one. And Holder driven an amazing race to get to the race lead. Doug Lemon's now sitting in P2. Termeyer up, down into P3 with Sean Ryan 4th. And where is Keith Stewart? So Stewart has dropped a long way down under that pit stop cycle. He's coming back down pit road now, so maybe there's a little bit more to the issues of that 16 truck than we all first thought, unless it was a speeding penalty on pit road. So he's come into the box. I'm just having a look now at the 16 truck. He definitely had a very long initial stop that sort of put him behind the 8 ball, and then he's come back down pit road just then. So that's going to throw the 16 truck now on the back foot. So every chase contender at the moment, Randy, just having a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, this has been a really eventful race for all your chase contenders, Jake. It's just, not been ideal, I think, for anyone involved. The lights are out on the pace car. We'll be green next time by.
Yeah, we're going to be green as his pace car comes through 3 and 4, and he will peel left. But it's been an interesting one. Marlowe now leading this championship chase. He's down in 5th position, though, so he'll be trying to fight and see if he can get any higher at the moment. We'll see what happens as Holder is going to be waiting for that pace car to peel left, as it does so on cue. 31 green flag in the air, and we are away for our 4th restart of the night. And Brandon Holder out to a good truck length lead. A good restart there from the 31 Lemons. Slots into P2. Termeyer now going to try and fight for that 3rd spot. Ryan losing out to Tim Marlowe on that inside line, and that's going to move the 28 truck up into P number 4. Nelson as well with Brandon Keith. The 2 trucks have been sort of quiet tonight, running around outside and around that top 10. Now side by side in the 6th and 7th position. Snelson started 22nd, has worked his way up there after a good strong drive, and he's going to get that spot over Brent Keith. And for the race lead, the 70 looks to the inside of the 31 as he drifts high. Holder coming off the corner, got a little bit tight, a little bit loose. It just went up there. He just drifted straight up the racetrack. The 70 now to the inside of the 31. He's going to get that race lead. A good hard dive in the 3 and 4, and a great pace advantage to the middle of the corner there for the 70. The 31 struggling with this early tire grip, just doesn't have anything, and I think that we saw that in the last stage as well on that restart. The 31 just doesn't have anything on the restart, but as soon as he gets into around that middle phase of the run, the 31 kicks into another gear and off it goes with the 54 to the inside looking for that 2nd spot. Tim Marlowe will be next on the list for the 31. 54 got the job done and moves himself up into that 2nd position. Now let's see what the 28 of Tim Marlowe can do. He's dropped down a little bit from the back of those 2. Maybe he's going to float around and buy in his time. Having a look now back at our other chase contenders, the 45 doesn't have all that damage fixed. There's a 16 to the inside of him. I was just about to mention the 16 started near the back of the pack on that restart. Keith Stewart now up into that 8th position. The 16 flying through the field. He wants to get back up to the front as quickly as possible. Albeit there is only 15 trucks on the lead lap, so he would have only dropped to back there, but still, great drive right now from the 16th truck as he completes his 94th lap, I should say, around this racetrack. Lemon's still out in front and pulling away at the moment, so he's managed to work his way back from a lap down, mind you, after having to come down pit road under green flag conditions. Doug Lemons has definitely put in a hard fight back to get that one to where he is. Holder having a look though for P2. Liven's up again, the 54 in front, the 31 behind, 31 to the inside, down into 3 and 4, 1 and 2 I should say. Gets that job done and drifts right up the racetrack, doesn't hit the fence coming off 1 and 2. Good move there from the 31 to put himself up in the second spot again, so it's just that early phase of the run for that 31 truck. Now puts himself into that position where he can try and chase down the race leader Doug Lemons, who is just slowly eking out a gap. Will be around about 0.5 of a second as they cross the line. As I say that, it goes out to 0.6 of a second. And now Lemons just slowly eking out that gap. Behind this battle still rages on as I was looking at 16. And slowly creeping into these two of Keith and Snelson, but Snelson and Keith still side by side. A little bit of contact into 3 and 4. A little bit of a door rub there between the 6 and the 32. The 6 gets really high up the racetrack on entry. That hurt all his momentum, and Keith Stewart to the inside of Brent Keith, and that one is done and dusted into turns number 1 and 2. Great move there from Keith Stewart. Great awareness to see that that was happening, and went down the inside, got both of the positions, and now he can try and work his way to the back of Sean and Ryan, up into that 6th spot since the restart. And the 45 of Doc Stout, our other challenge contender, just no speed after pancaking and hitting that wall really hard through 3 and 4. Right side of that truck has definitely seen better days, but he will try and do the best he can at the moment in 9th position. Everyone else now just single file in this stage at the moment, behind William Tony with the 58 of Edward Zaghetti, and Zaghetti could have been here, and he makes that position look easy on the 87 of William Tony, and Tony went a little bit higher. He's going to maybe lose a spot to Brent Day as well in the 90, who won our round recently at Las Vegas. The 90 truck gets that spot done, moves himself up into he's actually a lap down, I should say, after he spun. So but the 90's got a lot of pace at the moment. He would be running around with these guys at that present time, but the 90 is just going with the paces of this 58 truck. And Edward Zaghetti, he had some pace early on. He's had a lot of good luck, and there was a lot of smoke. It's the 6 as Barry Snelson slides through 3 and 4. He actually makes contact with the inside wall. A lot of damage there to that 6 truck. He's slowly going as we look at a replay of that once again. Another truck that has slid through the exit of 4 and made contact with that inside wall. And now he is rolling around out there with a lot of damage on that left side of that truck, and he's obviously slid the tires as well. It's going to be hard for him to try and get through. And again, as I say that, he slid through 3 and 4 this time round. He saves it. He's turned the truck. It goes straight on the pit road, and he has got coming down pit road this time around to the 6, 2 times in a row, slid through 3 and 4, and that's just going to be a difficult day to come back for the number 6 of Paris Wilson as he slides through his box as well. So the 6, just a bundle of dramas right there. The 70 still out in front by half a second. Holder sitting in P2, Taumeier sitting now in P number 3, and he has got Tim Marlowe for company. Championship contender, the 28 truck currently leading this championship at the moment. The 28 to the inside of the 54 coming off of turn 4. That's the trouble zone at the moment. Everyone's struggling to get the power down, get that grip out of the rear end. 28 to the inside again through 1 and 2 this time though. Definitely much closer, side by side. He's going to get clear of that 54 truck, and that puts himself up into that 3rd position. Good move there from the 28 of Tim Marlowe. It's a 54. Loses a little bit of ground there through 3 and 4. And Keith Stewart, the next one down in 6. Bart Marak now up into 8th. He's got Doc Stout behind him in that 62 truck. Just doesn't have the pace since the start that he had. Just hitting that fence has definitely hurt that right side of the truck. Whether he can do anything about it, it's unsure. He may have tried to fix some damage early on, but it just hasn't really played out to the best that he'd want at the moment, with the 62 right behind him. Doc Stout just missed out in the position to be in this championship contention. He's right there behind that 45. Not close enough though. Into 1 and 2 this time. Coming off the corner. Still not close enough. Down in the back straightaway. Not able to get the run he wanted off the corner, and he's going to have to sit in behind for this time. Back to the race lead though. Lemons, a little bit of a mistake there. Here comes Brendan Holder down the inside. Down into 1 and 2 this time. Around the 31 to the inside. Still side by side through 1 and 2. A little bit of a wiggle there from the 31. He likes to go high. He gets the spot, just clears the nose of the 70. The 70 of Lemons has a look to the inside into 3 and 4. Not close enough though to throw the nose down there and get that job done. He's going to have to sit in behind and see if he can get the momentum coming off the corner. A difficult turn 4. And as I say that, the laps are quickly winding down. 60 to go here tonight at Homestead, Miami Speedway in the 70. Having a look to the inside. No championship contenders among this battle here. Both of them fighting for the outright win. They don't care what happens in the championship. They're not a part of it. And here comes the 70. Another little look. He just drives in there, the different lines. He drives a little bit lower on entry and runs about half a truck width lower through the middle of the corner. The 31 obviously tries to arch out your natural sort of run it higher, kiss the middle of the corner, then run it really out wide on the exit. That is what he is trying to do at the moment. The 70 having another little look down the back straightaway on the 31 truck. Not close enough though this time round to have a bit of a look. Back to that battle between the 45 and the 62. The 62 got that job done now, so he is now going to set his sights on the 32 of Brent Keith in front of him. So Bart Marak really starting to struggle with the right side of that 45 truck. The pace is just not there at the present stage, and bad luck for another one of our championship contenders, and another battle with another one of our championship contenders, the 16 of Keith Stewart and Sean and Ryan. This is for the 5th and 6th position. Ryan is there and close enough this time, but not able to do anything about it. Currently the race lead is still on between Lemons and Holder. Lemons is just sort of playing cat and mouse at the moment with this 31 truck. I think he knows he has the pace to do something about it, but he's just sitting in behind. We should get another round of pit stops before the end of this one, and then they should be able to make it to the end from there. Holder holding on to the race lead from Doug Lemons in P2. 3rd is Tim Marlowe. Travis Termeyer sitting in that 4th spot with Keith Stewart. 5th, Sean Ryan. 6th, Brent Keith currently down in the 7th position. The 8th spot goes to Doc Stout. Bart Marak, our 3rd of our championship contenders, down in 9th with 10th. Rounding out that top 10 spot is the 58 of Edward Zagetti. And Tim Marlowe currently holding on to that championship, and he's already won one. He won season 3. Obviously, we did not broadcast that, and we went on around at that stage. But the 28 of Tim Marlowe has won a championship. That won't be his first, but the way that his past 2 seasons have gone have not been to perfection. And now, in that spot, running around in 3rd, Termeyer is about half a second back. The next truck that's championship contention is Keith Stewart in that 16. He's about 1.4 seconds back from Tim Marlowe, and that'll be where his eyes are at. His eyes won't be on who's in front of him. His eyes will be on that 16 truck. That's all he needs to beat tonight to get a championship. Out in front It's down to less than a tenth, and that's between 31 Brandon Holder and Doug Lemons of the 70. He had a big dive there into 3 and 4, and this battle is the closest one that we have out on the racetrack at the present stage. Not close enough though this time round to do anything about it. Opened up the gap just a little bit. Tim Marlowe is starting to come back. The gap is only 1 second back from the race lead to Tim Marlowe. So that 28 truck just slowly getting to grips with this run. And the 70 still having another look on the 31. It's just not close enough this time round. The 31 has won a race this season, but wouldn't mind putting another one next to his name for season 5 heading into next season. 70 again gets to run off of turn 2, and I think that's where he's strongest at this present stage. And he's definitely where he wants to be. Under a second now between the race leader and Tim Marlowe, so Marlowe slowly eking in this gap. Termite sitting comfortably in 4th. Keith Stewart with opened up that gap to Sean Ryan. Everyone else pretty much single file, just floating around. As Doc Stout actually is the first one to come down pit road, the first of our lead lap trucks to come down pit road. So that should be his final stop of the night. Comes down pit road with 51 in the books, or 51 to go. The 70 was loose off of turn number 4, and that is where all that time has gone between the 31 and the 70. That air gap is now gone. Got massively loose through the middle of 3 and 4, and there goes that gap. Now Tim Marlowe sitting behind, and he's going to see what he can do there in that 28 truck. He's just not close enough. That gap actually is eked out a little bit for him as well. So a couple of mistakes starting to creep in, but getting into the later parts of this run, tires just starting to fall away just a little bit. Doug Lemons, a late call. I wonder what happened then to the 70. A very, very late call to come down onto pit road. The 70 truck, Doug Lemons, from the 2nd position, realizes maybe it is time for some fresh boots. Usually one of the first ones to come down pit road is Doug Lemons, so he's going to try this undercut call. They were doing 31.6s last time round. Let's see what his fastest lap is, a 30.094. So looking at around about 1.6 seconds of a gain as an undercut for the 70 of Doug Lemons. Cleanly into his box as the 72 of Aaron Ames actually rolls off pit road, who was involved in that earlier incident between himself. Brad Patterson sides up as there is a caution out there on the racetrack. This one, wondering where this one is actually from, whether it's off the corner. It's the 16 of Keith Stewart, our championship contender. A big loser, was it him? I think it was. Tried to come down onto pit road. Yep, he's tried to come down onto pit road, and he actually nicked the grass on that tricky pit entry road, and it's thrown him across the racetrack. And that will bring out a caution. It was just a little mistake there on the pit entry road, and that another mistake there from Keith Stewart, another mistake from one of our championship contenders, and now coming down onto pit road is the leaders. This will be the final stop of the night as the 31 comes down pit road. The 28 there now will be second on the track as Lemons comes down, and this is perfect for Doug Lemons. Just came down pit road. The only issue is he got caught a lap down, so but he doesn't have to come down pit road. He'll just funnel to the back of the grid, and he's going to have to try and work his way through that one, because it's going to be hard for the 70 to come back from that. Leaders on pit road for the 5th time tonight. And while these trucks come down on pit road, we're going to go to another ad break to rest my throat for the final 40 odd laps to go in this one. And we'll be right back here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live for the rest of the E-Speed Championship 250.
Get ready, going green. Green, green, green.
Here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live for the E-Speed Championship 250 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. The lights are out in the pace car. We've doubled them up. Brandon Holder and Tim Marlowe on that front row for the restart. Turnmeyer, Ryan, Keith, and then Stewart, who actually dropped not too far back after he spin pace car onto pit road. Green flag in the air. Brett Keith got a great restart from the third row of the grid. The 54 of Turnmeyer went nowhere. That hurt that inside line a lot, and everyone else is just bottled up. The 28 of Tim Marlowe now side by side with Turnmeyer, who didn't get going. Gonna get that spot there. Gonna get it done on the 28 of Tim Marlowe. He's gonna have to try and sit there and see if he can drop down, because Keith Stewart is gonna have a look to the inside of Sean and Ryan. Down into turns 3 and 4. A little bit of left side damage, rear damage to the 54. Tim Marlowe drifts up the racetrack, loses that spot to the 16 truck. He's going to drop in behind, and that is a battle for the championship. Whichever truck is in front at the end between those ones and the 45 of Bart Marak, who has got a lot of damage to his truck as well. It's all going to be down to who is ahead. Tim Marlowe now struggling on this restart. Maybe a little adjustment has not gone his way. Travis Turnmeyer, though, has a look to Brandon Holder, who drifts up the racetrack on the exit of turn 4. Switchback for the 54 now on the inside, down into 1 and 2. Throws it down in there. 54 side by side with the 31. Holder not being able to get the grip that he needs. Drifts up the racetrack. New leader is the 54. He's ahead coming into turns number 3. And Stewart drifts up a little bit in the racetrack. That's a battle for the championship. Stewart and Marlowe side by side off of turn number 4. Down the front straightaway as Turnmeyer takes the lead. Holder does the same thing that Turnmeyer did to switch that back. 28 side by side with the 16. We're going to watch both of these battles. Marlowe not able to get the run he needed off the corner. He's going to have to drop in behind it. Keith Stewart. Holder, though, still side by side with the 54 of Travis Turnmeyer. Coming off of turn number 4 now. 31 nose ahead at the line. And in a 54 is going to have to yield that position, otherwise he's going to try it again. Coming off of turn number 2, you had a look. The 31 blocks that run. good racing out in front. The 16 now has a look to the inside of Travis Termeyer. Wasn't expecting a move like this from the 16 this early in this run. He's trying to put a car between himself and Tim Marlowe at the moment. The 16 to be number 2. Termeyer still stuck on the higher side. Tim Marlowe now tries to have a look to the inside of the 54 truck. He's still there, side by side. Holder, meanwhile, hasn't gone anywhere. So Keith Stewart trying to fight for the race win now, out in front. Still side by side, 2 by 2, down into turn number 1 and 2 now. Keith Stewart tries to take this race lead away. Tim Marlowe looks even all the way down the bottom. Thought about a 3-wide situation, didn't have the momentum though to get that one done, as the 54 still stays high. 28 on the inside for third. For the race lead, Holder and Stewart side by side, and they're actually pulling away from the rest of the field. 0.7 of a second between themselves and Sean and Ryan, as Holder shuts the door into turn number 1 to Keith Stewart. He's going to have to settle for P number 2. The 28 truck though moves himself up there into the 3rd spot. It's Doug Lemons now fighting with Sean Ryan. This is for that 5th position. Doug Lemons throws it down the inside into turn number 3, gets that spot done. Our other championship contention though, Bart Marak, sitting down in the 8th position, and he's just struggling with that truck. That little bit of damage as the battle for the championship continues between this 16 and the 28 Marlowe. The inside through 1 and 2. Stewart on the high side. The variable banking will let him try and pick up that speed coming down the back straightaway, but I think the 28 just has enough ahead. They're both throwing it in really hard at the present stage. As I say that, Tim Marlowe sideways again. Can he save it for the 2nd time? He does. That is going to put him on the back foot, however. That's going to drop him down to around that 10th spot. Marlowe loses out in that battle with Keith Stewart. Gets sideways through turns 4 and now drops back as we're going to replay that one running on board. And Marlowe just got loose through turns 4, and that was it. Pushing as hard as he could with Keith Stewart. He grew another great save, not to hit anything, and keeps the truck going, but will now be on the back foot for the rest of this stint. He'll be hoping for another caution to maybe try and gain the ground back up. He's dropped back to P number 9, and he's already trying to have a dig at Brent Keith in that 32 truck. So the 28 of Tim Marlowe not done with yet. Out in front though, Holder leads 0.3 of a second over Keith Stewart. Now holding on to that championship in 2nd. Termeyer and Lemons fighting hard. This is for 3rd and 4th. Termeyer high, Lemons low. Lemons takes that spot through 1 and 2 and gets the job done. Moves himself up into 3rd, so another back to the front sort of issue here from Doug Lemons. He sort of went a lap down after an early issue that he came down for, and now he is fighting up in that 3rd spot again. And even after having an early pit stop and going another lap down, I should say, he is back up on the lead lap, fighting again for the front of this field. Marak now, as I have a look, is down in 6th spot, but he's gained a couple of spots right now. So Marak's picked up his pace in that 45 truck. He's only 1.8 seconds away from the race lead. It shows how tightly compact everyone is out in front. And Tim Marlowe already back up the 7th, even after I was just saying he dropped down to 9th after a short little slide through 3 and 4. He is on the comeback now. Out in front though, gap still stagnant between Holder and Stewart. Lemons is the next one who is charging up to the back. Whether he can do anything about it. Stewart though, he's going to try and do something about this race lead. He gets a good exit off of turn number 4. Down the front straightaway to start lap number 140. We are winding him down. Only 28 to go. 16, closing up that gap to the 31 of Brandon Holder. He's going to be there and try and see what he can do with this one. Lemons is closing down that gap. Marak has lost a little bit of time. He was under 2 seconds to the race lead, now has fallen 2.1 seconds. As Keith Stewart looks to go up into P number 1. He is there. He's only a couple of tenths away from that race lead, but Doug Lemons is there. I think this would be a great time for a little bit of fan immersion on board with that 16 truck as he tries to chase down that race leader of 31 or 31. A couple of laps on board with the leading car, the leading truck I should say, in the championship fight, the 16 of Keith Stewart. A couple of laps on board with the 16 of Keith Stewart, who is now in a three-way fight for this race lead. The championship contender is stuck with the 71, the 70 and the 31, who is out in front of this race lead. And there's a truck coming up off the racetrack. That is Aaron Ames there, the 72 truck who involved in that earlier incident. The 70 though has a look going into 3 and 4 on the 16. He is now trying to mix it up with Keith Stewart, and a little bit of a wiggle there coming off the corner from the 70. He's trying to get everything he can. The 16 though, he doesn't want to get involved in a fight. He knows he's 2 championship contenders right now. Tim Marlowe currently, as Termeyer drops down a little bit of pace. Tim Marlowe currently sitting in the 5th spot. The 6th spot is Bart Marak. So Keith doesn't need to worry about Doug Lemons at the moment, but he is still fighting as hard as he can. With that 70, he wants to hold on to P2, but that is letting Brandon Holder skip away just a little bit this time round. Now 20 to go for the championship, for the E-Speed Contender Series Season 5, and right now Keith Stewart came in. Both of us, Randy and I, both said that definitely was the favourite coming into this one. Second followed with Bart Marak. Tim Marlowe was going to be one of the dark horses with Jason Sideslove's race didn't go the way he wanted, ended early in an incident. Marlowe, Marak and Stewart have both had similar issues sliding out of turn 4. Keith Stewart was the reason for the latest caution, sliding and spinning on the pit entry road. Pit access road I should say, coming through 3 and 4. So he's fighting back, and now he's fighting to Brandon Holder. He wants to try and take this race win. Even though he only has to try and just beat everyone else, those other 4 drivers that he's racing, he wants to win the final race in this championship. He has had a strong season, now down to 1/10 of a second between himself and Brandon Holder. it will be 3 trucks pretty much fighting for this race lead. They have around about 2.2 seconds back from Doug Lemons to Sean and Ryan. So the gap is definitely there. And if any of them do make a little error, obviously they got a little bit of a gap that they can slide into behind. But there's only the 3 trucks that are going to be fighting with each other from here to the end, as Tim Marlowe slowly, though, is crawling into the back of Sean and Ryan. So he may be able to take 4 spots. So a little caution towards the end could really mix it up for the championship. But at the moment, Keith Stewart right behind Brandon Holder for this race lead. Lemons is there. None of them close enough this time to do anything about it. They're all going to be single file as they wind down these laps. Definitely Doug Lemons looked the strongest out of the 3. Maybe he's just trying to save his tyres at this present stage. Only Doug Lemons knows that. He did usually comes down early, and if that's the case, maybe those 1 or 2 laps earlier on the tyres may be hurting. Just trying to work through that field as well, because he started to drop a little bit behind Keith Stewart. Keith still holding on, and there is a caution out in the racetrack. As I said, a caution would spice this one up for the end. It would, and it is actually Sean and Ryan who was running up in that 4th spot. He's been bitten by that turn 4 again, and this time, as we bring up a replay of the 29 truck, it was, yep, just another lazy spin through turn 4. It just around it went, couldn't bring it back, did a full 360 and back on its way, but because it slowed down to a stop, that's going to bring out a caution with under 20 laps to go. And this one just spikes it up just a little bit while these guys catch that pace car. Randy, it's gone from everywhere to everywhere this race, I should say. There has been non-stop action amongst these, especially these leading guys in the championship through turns 4. Obviously, Keith Stewart bringing up that last caution with a spin on the pit access road, as Tim Marlowe should be alright with that one. Tim Marlowe brings it down on the pit road, but a little bit late call there from the 28 truck. But now we're going to bunch them up and let them have at it. It's going to be chaotic.
Yeah, this really is. What do you do at this point? Because it's not really a good call to make. I don't think it's sort of if you decide to do the right thing. Well, do you come down and take tires? Do you risk not taking tires? I'd like to see what the 45 does. It looks like everyone in contention going to come down pit lane here.
Yeah, everyone in contention on the pit lane, and I don't even think you risk a 2-tire call. You take all 4. I'm going to be looking at Keith Stewart because I can... Oh, the 45 slides into the box. The 28 rolls his box. So 2 trucks with issues of the championship guys actually on this pit lane. The right side's both done for all 3s. Keith is out, waiting on Marlowe and Marak, and they're going to drop a little bit back than what they wanted for this restart. Holder wins the race off of pit road. Keith Stewart P2, Doug Lemons P3, 4th will be Bart Marak, Termeyer, then Marlowe. So Marlowe down in 6th, Marak in 4th. There's going to be around about 10 laps to go, or just under 10 laps to go with the restart. Now that is going to make for a juicy finish. As they will all start to form up, and I think we'll bring Randy in while we can under this caution before we get back going again, and we'll talk a little bit about this one. And Randy, who do you think now? We've come down through sort of a full 155 laps in the books. We've got this last caution, 10 to go, or coming to it when they go green. Who's your pick? How do you think they're going to actually challenge this one? Because it's going to be difficult. Marak will be 4th, Stewart 2nd, and then obviously Marlowe 6th.
It's going to be really interesting. I think Keith Stewart right here is probably the easy favorite because you're coming inside of 10 to go. And to the inside of him, you're gonna have it's gonna be the leader, so he should be able to get him. If he gets a good jump, he should be able to get single file and latch onto the back of that 31 of Brandon Holder and follow him through. The 45 of Marak we know has some damage, and while that he's gotten some time to get that repaired, that 45 machine probably not going to be as quick as it could be, and the 28 machine has to get around Turnmeyer and Marak before he even has the opportunity to even challenge Stewart. I think the fact that the 45 is still a little bit wounded and that the 28 is somewhat out of position, we're going to be basically inside of 10 laps to go. I think it's all on the 16 here. As long as he gets a good jump, we can slot him behind the 31. He doesn't need to race the 31 of Holder. He doesn't need to beat the 31. He just needs to follow him into 1 and 2, and I think the 16 wins this championship.
Yeah, I definitely think, and that's a great rundown there from Randy of the situations of what's going on, and I think that's definitely what I reiterate, the 16 just in that position right now where he really can do what he needs to do as the lights are out on the pace car. We're going to be going green with 10 to go. It'll be pretty close to being the next caution. Unless it's pretty quick, the next flag will end the race. So if they can get a couple of laps in the books, which they have been all night, it definitely will end it. And this will be our 7th caution of the night, I think, if my calculations, if I can do numbers right. It is our 7th caution, our 7th restart of the night. Holder with Keith Stewart. Holder going for the race win, Keith going for a championship. And as I say that 3 trucks on that outside line are your championship contenders. So they're the 3 that you want to watch, the 16, the 45, and the 28 coming into this final restart with all to play for. We're going to ride on board with the 28 on this restart. That's the 6th on the 6th position on the outside of row number 3. And he's going to try and see if he can get the best restart he can. I think everyone is on that high side. All those championship contenders doing all they can to try and take Season 5 out. The pace car will peel left. Holder. And it's green flag in the air, and Holder didn't get a good restart. That's going to leave the 16 side by side coming into turn number 1 with 10 laps to go. Brandon Holder gets the job done. That's actually allowed Lemons to go down the inside because of how close Marak shuts the door in the 54 through 1 and 2. Tim Marlowe is still stuck on the high side. Marlowe can't do anything about it. He's still stuck there on the high side. The 16 now with the 70 to the inside. Down goes the 45 now, side by side with the 16 of Bobby Stewart. The 28 behind goes to the inside of Travis Turnmeyer. The 16 blocks the run from the 45 into 1 and 2. The 70 now, he's side by side with the 70. He threw it so deep into 1 and 2. Still side by side with the 70 and Keith Stewart. He threw it down the inside to block the run from the 45 and somehow made the pass stick on the 70 of Doug Lemons. A great move there from Keith Stewart. He is gunning for this championship. The 70, is he going to try and fight back? He wants this 2nd spot, and down the inside goes Lemons. Oh, he got a little bit tight with the 16. He tried to shut the door, racing hard there with the 70. Marak goes to the high side. He's going to be the one now down into that 3rd spot as Doug Lemons loses all of his momentum. Brandon Holder now out in front, coming to complete lap 160, giving us 7 laps to go, and Keith Stewart with the pace advantage off of turn number 4. There's a wreck behind and there's a caution out. Caution is out. A lot of trucks around there. And that was between the 8 Kiss the Fence, as the 71 and the 6. A lot of trucks involved in that one. The 8 of Doyle Lawrence had a pretty quiet night tonight, I should say. Just scraped the outside wall of turn 4. Bobby Everhart, nowhere to go. The 6 involved in that one, and Perry Snelson. A lot of damage to that 6 truck. And that won't finish this one. They should still be able to get around about 3 to 2 to go. It's going to be pretty close, but Brandon Holder and now Bart Marak is in a great position to try and do everything he can to get the 16 to Keith Stewart. Marlowe did nothing. I don't say did nothing, but he did He restarted 6th and stayed 6th. So he's, yeah, no positional gain there for Marlowe. And Randy, we'll bring you in for this caution before you have to do all of the directing for the final race restart. But it's wow, that was one of the hardest I've ever seen Keith Stewart drive against anyone else, because he shut the door on the 45 and then he drove that right side of that 70 down as hard as he could till he got that spot.
Yeah, Keith did exactly what he had to do there. I mean, he's fighting with the 70, and he doesn't want to give that spot up, because at that point, the 70 of Doug Lemons was the buffer between him and the 45 of Bart Marak. So he always wants to fight for that position, even though it may not make sense. Even though, oh, well, he'd still be ahead, he wants to have that buffer of one truck. And I think right now, the 16 of Keith Stewart is in a very precarious situation. He needs to make sure that he gets a good reaction here on that number 31 machine of Brandon Holder when he goes green, because if he doesn't, the 45 of Bart Marak will be up the inside as they run into corners number 1 and 2. This, I think, is between the 16 and the 45, and this is going to be a hard one. It's hard to call who's, you know, if the 16 gets a good jump, Bart Marak with his damage may not be able to get by, but if Bobby gets caught sleeping, Bart might be able to slip through.
Yeah, and that's the issue. It's not like the last caution where they were sort of all on the high side. They all sort of had to get low before they could do anything, being Marlowe and Marak. Now Marak's already on that inside. He can try and dive it down the inside of that 16 into turn 1, but the 16 now needs to dive it back. It's going to come down to whoever can just get it done, really. At the end of the day, who is going to be the one to take the biggest risk? Who's going to try and get the reward of another championship between these two? But Keith Stewart and Bart Marak, Tim Barlow, Jason Sides are obviously out early. One was the other Chase championship contender. It's going to be interesting, because we do know that obviously Keith will be on the high side on the restart, Marak on the inside, but with damage. If, like you said, Randy, Keith can get can get a better reaction time than Keith. Now, I like how we're bringing up reaction time when we know what Keith's been through with drag racing and everything there. But Bart Marak, all he needs to do is just get it to the inside. There won't be that many to go when those lights are out, and we're reckoning around 3 to 2 to go. So if he can get to the inside and get ahead, just block the runs and he'll be able to hold on. But you got to remember as well, and Marlowe, he is still amongst it. He's only starting down in 6th. If he can get a good run from there, he might still be able to rain on the parade of these two out in front of him. Coming down the front straightaway, looks like it could be for the last time we will see this pace car out there, as they start to double them up with the lights are out. The final restart of the race, the final restart of the season for season 5 of the eSpeed Contender Series, and it all comes down to this: 3 drivers in this one, the 16, the 45 and the 28. That's all that are left, and Brandon Holder gunning for a race win. And you can throw Doug Lemons and the rest of the field in that mix. Coming down the back straightaway, and it all comes down to this, and for these guys out there, the nerves will rise just a little bit as you go pacing for the final time, and just try and get yourself composed for this final restart. Marak needs to do everything to try and stick to the back of the 31. Stewart needs to get the reaction time, and Marlowe just needs to throw it everywhere. Pace car will be peeling off to pit road. Restart and green flag, and Holder is gone. Stewart can drop down now. Holder went as soon as he could, and Marak was sleeping. Holder to the point. Keith Stewart runs now in P2. Bart Marak now down in 3rd. Tim Marlowe tries to thread the needle between Turnmeyer and Lemons. Turnmeyer shut the door. Marak not got the speed that he needs at the moment. Stewart running in P2. They're going to get the white flag as they cross the stripe. White flag in the air last time around Homestead Miami Speedway. Marak not able to do anything to Keith Stewart. Keith Stewart running in P2 for the championship. Coming off of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Holder trying to get his second win of the season. Contact in the back that I heard. Still out in front. Marak trying to get the race to the line. Holder wins in the 16 as Stewart holds on from Bart Marak. It came down to the wire side by side. The 45 with the run through 3 and 4. Let's bring up a replay of that. Through 3 and 4, he did everything he tried to do. There was contact in the back, but coming off of turn number 4, he had the run. He just needed another truck length, if that. And Bart Marak might have gotten that one. But Brandon Holder takes the race win. And Keith Stewart takes the championship, his first. And wow. Once again, the eSpeed Contender Series turns it on. But Bart Marak, so close to getting it as a rookie. As there was a contact at the back of the field. That was Sean M. Ryan that I saw go around. As Keith Stewart and Brandon Holder gonna burn him down out there on the racetrack, and I'll run through our race results here for the final round of the eSpeed Contender Series for Season 5. Brandon Holder coming away with the victory. Keith Stewart taking home the championship, just beating home Bart Marak by 0.07 of a second. Not much in it between the 16 and the 45. Termeyer down into coming home for P number 4. Great drive there from the 54. Doug Lemons bringing it back to come home in P5. Tim Marlowe, the other championship contender, down in P6. Just couldn't get what he needed at the end when it counted after leading for most of that first part of the race. Edward Zaghetti down in 7th. Doc Stout 8th. Brent D 9th with William Tony rounding out the top 10. 11th, Frank Gamuglia, Doyle Lawrence down in 12th. Brent Keith 13th. Bobby Everhart 14th. Sean M. Ryan down in 15th. Rounds out the trucks, finishing on the lead lap. Then it was Perry Snelson 16th. 17th was James Torrey. Brad Patterson 18th. 19th, Aaron Ames. Travis Townsend with issues down in 20th. Burt Wilson, Jason Sideslove. Not the night he'd like to remember after coming into this one with a chance at the championship. And then the 23 and Timmy Logwood Jr. We'll go to a short break here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live before we have our post-race interviews here for the eSpeed Championship 250 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Don't go anywhere.
When I sat in the car, you always wonder, what's it going to feel like? You know, it was my first time driving a mid-engine GT car. You know, my thoughts were, wow, this is really good for our first time in a car. I was really surprised by you're sitting low, you got the A-pillars at steep angles, the windshield's at steep angles, you can see the fender flares. I think we have a chance to win. Everything's got to go right, but I think we have a car that can win the race or be on the podium. But can you imagine how cool that would be to go back 50 years later to the year and do it?
Welcome back to the Raven Grafixx eSpeed Contender Series for post-race coverage here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. We just finished the Homestead Miami here at Homestead Miami Speedway for the eSpeed Championship 250, and what a race it was. And we're going to bring in our first sponsor presentation with Doyle Lawrence in the 8, as well as our race winner here today of Brandon Holder in the 31. Doyle, it wasn't the race for you, but as a sponsor, that race went off. And any words and anything you have to say to our race winner here today, Brandon Holder?
Brandon, upon Raven Grafixx would like to congratulate you on the win. I know it was kind of a tough mid-season with some family, and this must mean a lot to you. So awesome job, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Doyle. I really appreciate it. Thanks for everything that you do for this series. It's a great series to be in.
Yes, It is. Absolutely.
It definitely is. It's one that we have been proud to actually bring to you. And unlucky tonight, Doyle. It wasn't your race, but still out there. Come from 24th to finish 12th. Still not a bad run, and hope that you'll continue and see you next season.
I'll definitely be here for sure.
It'll be awesome to have you again, Doyle. And Brandon, what a way to end what you'd say has been a difficult season, but congratulations on a stellar performance tonight. You did everything you could there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jake. It all starts with the setup. We've got some great set builders that we're teamed up with. We got Timmy Logwood, Sean Ryan, and Tim Marlowe and the RFR guys. Man, it's been a real boost, and it's exciting to run these races.
Yeah, and it's been exciting to actually watch them. And tonight, you knew those guys were having that championship battle, but you didn't give them an inch. Was that the way you guys were always going to play it? I know a lot of you guys. Sean Ryan was running really well before he got involved in an incident just then, before those last couple of cautions. And was that how you guys were just going for the win? You didn't really, you do care, but you don't at the present stage of what their championship is. You just want that victory.
Well, definitely want the victory. I mean, I might have gave them an inch, but not much more. I mean, you got to respect that they're racing for that, but it's all about winning for us since we didn't get to be in the chase there at the end. So that's what we were focused on.
Yeah, well, you did it. You can give them that inch. I think an inch that will be all right with. But well done. And what it's been a difficult season for you, but you have come from rookies and for yourself and driven faultlessly this season. Congratulations on the win. Hopefully we get to see you next season. Is that the plan for you guys as a team to come back next season?
Absolutely, we'll be here. Can't wait for it.
Well, that'll be awesome to see you have another full crack at next season's championship. Well done again, Brandon, on taking home the victory tonight. Any shout-outs, anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Keith, man. That looked like a great championship race. Looks like there's a lot of viewers, so I'm proud to see that. Again, I want to thank Timmy and Sean and Tim and RFR guys. Got to thank Chris Jennings for the sponsorship. Gave us a real boost this year. Appreciate that with Yosemite Mountain Escapes. Thank Doyle Lawrence, Raven Grafixx. Also want to thank James Torrey with Lone Star Rod & Customs. Everyone that put this thing together, it's a blast to run in.
Yeah, it's been a great season, and well done, Brandon, on what has been an amazing season, and hopefully you can see us next season and do it all again.
Awesome job, Brandon. That's amazing. That's a well-deserved win for you, man.
Thanks a lot, Doyle. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys, and well done, and hopefully you guys can have another strong championship run next season. And next, let's do our championship winner. We'll bring him in. Randy can do it. Let Randy have a spur of the moment with our championship winner of Keith Stewart.
I'm stood by with the number 16, driver of the number 16, second place finisher tonight, but most importantly, Keith, you did it. You brought home the championship. How do you feel?
Oh man, I tell you what, I'm pretty sure I woke up the neighbors in the apartment complex here because that was a lump in the throat moment, man. I didn't do everything perfect by any means in this race. I was just able to capitalize actually on my own mistake on pit road, and I don't really know what to say, man. I know how Jimmy Johnson and some of them guys feel when they say, man, I don't know what to say. I've raced this thing for 5 seasons and run it and, been in contention, but I just always managed to throw it away. And boy, I had to earn it, though. That was close with Murak. I have no idea how close, but he was right there.
Somewhere around 700ths of a second, I think 0.075. I mean, the other tight margins, Keith, those are normally what we're talking about in a top fuel run in the NHRA. That's, we're not used to seeing 700ths of a second dividing two NASCAR trucks for the championship at the end of the season.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, for what I would call entertainment value, it had to be a great race, which you guys always put on an excellent broadcast. There's never any doubt about that, never will be. And but gosh, what a race. That was a long race. Everybody did a great job to get it done, and it was a tricky track. It was a fast track, but I don't know what to say. I'm ecstatic. I know Doyle's here, so Doyle got Raven a championship, buddy.
Keith, Bobby, Bubbles, Stewart, man, all I can say is I am privileged to stand here and congratulate not only a true champion, but one of my best friends. That's just awesome. It means a lot to me to be able to say congratulations.
Well, thanks, man. I mean, it means a lot, your friendship and the things you do to help make this series go around, and I can't thank you enough for everything you do for me personally and for this series, and it's an honor to have Raven on the truck and get it done. I guess changing to the flame paint job a little while back wound up good luck, so I'm going to have to keep that for a long time.
Keep it going, brother. Keep it going. That was awesome.
It's 10-4. Thank you, man.
And now, talking about that finish, Keith, coming off of corner number 4, the 45 had a big run. He got in the wall earlier on in the race, kind of got shuffled back down. I'm sure maybe you thought he may have been out, may have hoped that he was out. That big run he got coming off of 4 to the checkers, did you think he was going to get you?
Yeah, I did. To be honest with you, there's a couple of things during this race that, the 4 of us were racing hard. I saw Jason a couple of times, but I think he might have had a mishandling truck or whatever, and that I hate that because I was hoping Jason could get up there and fight with us too. But with Murak, man, I was trying to beat Brandon, and I knew possibly Bart had some damage, but I didn't write him off because I saw the run he got before that second yellow come out, and I just flat drove it too far into 3, trying to beat Brandon. And when you do that here at Homestead, regardless of conditions, you have to back way out of the gas, and I actually slammed on the brake. Not slammed on it, but gave it a good amount of brake to whoa it up so it wouldn't climb the racetrack, because I knew if I climbed the racetrack too much, he was going to get past me in 4. And I heard him coming. I saw him drop down low, and I started to go block, and I thought, he's already there. Don't Carl Edward yourself into the inside wall here, and let's just drag race to the stripe. And I got there first. It was pretty amazing. Racing Marlowe for this deal too, I knew he was loose on the bottom, but like I told him in the post-race there, that's racing, and you best believe I pushed her hard on the top to hold him down there. And him getting loose, hey, that's not my problem. He had a loose truck, but Tim knows that's hard racing, and he'd have done the same to me.
And so, Keith, last season, I mean, we talked about it in our little pre-race segments of the 4 of you. You carried so much momentum in from the end of last season into this one, and then you just continue to get better and better over the course of this season. Qualifying efforts, you really stepped yourself up. You were more consistently in the top 5 than you were this season. What's the plans for next year? Do you think you can get any better?
Well, I think you can always get better. I'm really ecstatic with the season I've had. I'm pretty proud of it. It's the best season I've ever had in this series, and can I get better? Yeah, I think we can all get better. I don't know how to fix some of the mistakes I have made during the season, and a lot of them have been involving pit stops, just like this one tonight. And I pretty much thought it was over with at that point. And of course, the caution come out, and I happened to be the guy that brought it out. I don't feel too good about that. That's you know, I don't know, a little bit tough to swallow, because I would have liked to have gone green there. I was trying to make a good pit stop and just overshot the pit lane. But next season is going to be a lot tougher. We're going to have some more rookies coming in, and pretty much everybody's coming back. And you know, it should be an epic season. I'm really looking forward to it, with some of the rule changes and some of the things going on that are really going to make hopefully every race be like tonight's race. And if we can do that, we'll just keep getting better and better.
Well, thanks for joining us, Keith. Once again, congratulations, not only for winning the championship, but the fact that you stepped your game up so much. As someone who's been in that position, I know how difficult that can be, and I know how satisfying that is when you manage to push yourself to the next level. But that said, after all said and done, who would you like to thank? Who would you like to shout out?
Well, obviously, Raven Graphics, my sponsor on the truck, series title sponsor. Thank you for everything you do there, Doyle, and glad to have you aboard. Looking for another season together on that deal, and should be a ton of fun. Lone Star Rod and Customs, the guys from GVR, of course. Bart Murak and Chris Britt for sponsoring some events this season and helping out there. Really appreciate what they did, and stepping up to the plate to help. Of course, RaceSpotTV, and what you guys do, and working with me on everything how you have. Can't say thank you enough on that, and can't wait to get everything back up on the level and go do another season. And I also want to say thanks to Matt Holden from the Commodore's Garage. Matt came over to basically be the series official, the competition review board, and he's doing a magnificent job. And to be honest with you, the Commodore's Garage is probably got a lot to do with how I run. So I told him I would plug it if I was able to give him some time. So everybody go to the Commodore Garage if you want to really learn how to get a handle on the setups. That's where it's at. So I've said my thank yous, and I appreciate the time.
Again, Keith, as always, thanks for the thanks you give us every week. Congratulations again. Hope to see you carry this in strong next season.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Awesome job, brother. Awesome.
Thank you.
Jake, throwing it back to you. You stood by, third place finisher, second in the points by about 0.07 of a second. That's the 45 of Bart Murak.
Yeah, second in the points by 0.07 of a second, but it's that close. There was nothing in it at the end, but what a race you and the rest of the championship guys had. Tell us about that one.
Well, I felt I had a really good truck, and it was good on the long run, and all I had to do was put a half pound in the right rear, and it came live for a short run, but I couldn't keep the fenders on it.
Yeah, the fenders and that early incident, was that just something that was just the right front just went away? You just washed up the track, it looked like, and then that was it, straight into the fence. And were you able to get much of that damage repaired? Because it looked like you had most of it repaired by the end of it, but still just no pace in the truck.
I was loose. I was really loose, and I started off loose because I knew the track would get tighter as we went, and at the end I was perfect. It just, I had my truck a little beat up. So, and what was the other question?
Do you reckon that damage was the main cause of that little bit of pace loss that you had? That did it knock out more than just the fenders off it? Because it looked like the fenders and that looked like they repaired it all for the next one, but that was more the right side, maybe knocked out a bit of the toe.
No, I think I just had a big hole in the hood, and I had no straightaway speed. I was fine in the corners, but in the straightaway they were pulling me half car to a car length.
Yeah, it definitely looked like that would have been maybe where that issue was. But at the end of it all, but you gave it all and you did everything you could. And how was that track out there? You did mention it with Randy before the race started, obviously with the overcast weather. How did it actually feel? Obviously, you said that it came to you at the end. Was it really that loose early on? Because there was a lot of issues, and all of you guys in the championship actually spun through 3 and 4.
If you set your truck up to be fast, you were going to be a little bit loose at first, and I showed. I think every one of us contenders spun or had trouble.
Yeah, it definitely showed, and it made it a little bit more interesting to see who would come out on top. But 700s was all it was to get your first championship in your rookie season. But what do you have planned for next season? You can only get better after what is your rookie season and having such a strong run. What can you do for next season, Bart, that gets you that extra step?
Well, the bar is set pretty high. I guess there's only one spot for me to do to get better, you know.
Yeah, only that one spot, and you missed out by 700s. Don't miss out by 600s next year. But well done, Bart, on what has been a great season for you. For your rookie season in the eSpeed Contender Series has been one that Randy and I have always could be there for that win. Has really been a strong season for you. Any shout-outs, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Travis Turnmeyer this week. He put in so many hours to help me and get my setup to where it needed to be, and I'm going to welcome him. He's the new wet paint driver for next year, the second driver to our team. I'd like to thank Express Motorsports, Doug and Perry. They really put in their time too this week. Absolutely priceless. Glovebox Racing, they got me here. Those guys got me through to the chase. So I thank every one of those guys. Keith Stewart, he puts on such a great thing with this eSpeed, and congratulations for his championship. That's just great. And Brandon Holder on the win. He's just a great guy, and I'm just glad to be one of his friends. Raven Grafixx, RaceSpotTV, Hugo, Jake, and Randy. You guys are great. And then my sponsors, NASCAR Hall of Fame Charlotte, wetpaint.com, premium iRacing paint by Cameron Wilson.
Thank you, Bart, for the kind words, and hopefully you can keep that momentum that you've had from this season into next, and we wish you luck for what next season brings.
Thank you very much. I'll see you next season.
Thank you, Bart, and that was our 45 truck coming home in third, second in the championship at Randy. We're going to chuck it over to you now for Travis Turnmeyer, coming home in P number 4.
Yeah, I'm stood by with the 54, Travis Turnmeyer. And Travis, it almost seems a little anticlimactic, but it was a fantastic race for you. We get from Brandon Holder, he gets his second race win of the year. And then Keith, of course, wins the championship. Bart comes up 700ths of a second short. But you in that 54 machine, you were really, really quick. How hooked up was that 54? One of the best, I'd say one of the best runs you've had all season.
Yeah, I've had a lot of bad luck this year. It's good to be sitting in this spot finally. The truck, it didn't matter what I done. I missed my part of the tune just a little bit. I couldn't never get it just tight enough in the longer run. I was having to wait on it so long out of 4, but I think everybody was. It's just really slick coming up off that corner.
Now, Bart just announced you as the new wet paint driver going into next season. And I have to ask, after 6 months, doesn't wet paint eventually start to dry? Or is it like concrete and it just cures forever?
With our relationship, I hope it just cures forever.
That's a lot more touching than I expected it to be. But Travis, fantastic run for you in the final race of the season. Fantastic top 5 finish. What's your plans for next year? This is, I think, overall probably a somewhat of a downer year for you. You got it. You caught up in a lot of other people's troubles. What's the plans for next season?
Hopefully not to get caught up in other people's troubles. Yes, I have had a rough season this year. Made the alliance with Bart. Me and him has been talking for quite a while on doing this, and then we made it official this week that I would be coming on board with him with wet paint. Man, we've put in some work. I was really hoping that we could get him for that championship win. What a rookie year he's put together, but man, Keith Stewart, you gotta give it to the guy. He earned it. He deserves it. Nobody will ever know. I'm really good friends with Keith. Nobody will ever know how many hours he sits and spends working on this series. On top of having to build his sets to race every week. Many nights sitting here till 3, 4, 5 in the morning with him putting a set together and then having to work on series stuff. And on top of that, having to get up and go to work at the next morning on an hour's worth of sleep. We'll never be able to repay him for what he gives us.
Well, thanks again for joining us, Travis. Congrats again on a fantastic 4th place finish. Definitely apologizes for you for the year not being the greatest you want, but good luck to you making an up and up year next season with the new team.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
No problem. We're going to throw it on down the line. Jake stood by for the last interview of the night with the 70 of Doug Lemons.
Yeah, going to be stood by here with Doug Lemons, our last interview of tonight. And Doug started off the pole, but you were trying to do a Tim Marlowe, going from the back to the front, but it just didn't work out, coming up short in that 5th position. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I had a real good truck. It was able to go from the back to the front. That first pit stop, the pace car hit the wall and disappeared, and I got a black flag for passing the pace car, and I had to serve that under green. So that's where it started.
Yeah, I wondered what the go with that was. I thought you maybe didn't put any fuel in it, or something happened there, because I noticed that you came down pit road and that threw you a lap down, and then obviously you got your lap back, worked your way up to the front. Then you came down later on in the race as well with that. You came down for on a green, and then the caution comes out a lap later, so you're a lap down and had to work your way from the back then as well. It was just a topsy-turvy night, but that truck was really on rails.
Oh yeah, Art Murak and Travis Turnmeyer and Perry Snelson and I worked on that tune, and I made a couple of changes right before I got on the grid that just made it a rocket.
Yeah, it made it an absolute rocket. And Doug, it wasn't your season. It wasn't your season like last season that you had a strong run. It was really an up and down year for you. Any plans? What should go for next season? Because we want to see Doug back up there fighting for race wins like you were last season. It's been a little bit missing when you don't see that green 70 truck up there.
Yeah, believe me, I want to be up there too. Like you say, I just had a up and down season. If there was something I could get into, I got into it, and it just didn't work out real good. But I showed myself that I could still do it towards the end of the season.
And that's exactly right. You started to come on strong at the end of the season, and hopefully that strength that you brought at the end of this season you can carry over to next season, because it will be a pleasure seeing you racing up front once again. And Doug, well done on another strong run, and congratulations on the pole as well. Any shout-outs, anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, Lone Star Rod and Custom, Innovative Fab Works, Raven Grafixx, obviously Keith Stewart for all he does. You guys did a bang-up job this whole season. My teammate Perry, my temporary teammates of Bart and Travis. It's a lot of fun.
And it's been a lot of fun to be able to do this with you guys as well. Thank you, Doug, and well done on another strong run. And hopefully you can have an even better season, which can only get better for you next season.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Doug. And that was Doug Lemons, our final interviewee of today, coming home in that 5th spot. And Randy, now it's all calm and settled and it's all done. What a race that was to finish off what has been an amazing Season 5 of the ESP Contender Series.
Yeah, that was quite the race. One of the most entertaining we've seen. Had a little bit of everything. You had some long green flag runs. You had the championship contenders getting themselves into issues. None of the 4 runners we've seen today had a clean race. I think everyone brought out a yellow at some point. I know Bart and Keith both did, as well as Jason. I don't know if Tim actually brought out a yellow, but we saw him get into the wall at some point. Really just what you would want from an exciting motor race running for the championship. But Jake, we still have a Glove Box Racing Hard Luck Award to give out, one more on the season. And I think we already pretty much picked out who it is.
Yeah, we pretty much picked out who it was, and the final GBR Hardlock Year of the Award goes to Jason Sizarv. It was none of his own. It really wasn't. He was an innocent bystander racing hard with the 42 and the 72, and he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and got caught up in an incident not of his doing. And at that stage, that's what brought an end to his run to the championship, with what could have been at the end, with the way that everyone else had issues. It was just crazy with the amount, like you said, Tim, Marlowe half spinning a couple of times, not bringing out the caution. Then obviously Bart Marat getting into the wall, as well as Keith Stewart. But I think that will wrap it up here today for the eSpeed Contender Series for the final time with Raven Grafixx. Thanks to our sponsors, Raven Grafixx, Lone Star Riding Customs, GBR as well for the GBR Hard Luck Award, Keith for all that he does as well for this series, and all the drivers who put on an amazing show week in, week out. But that was the Championship 250 here from Homestead Miami Speedway on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live, and we hope to see you on the rest of our coverages for the week. Thank you and goodbye.